Good afternoon from Okinawa, Japan, home of OkiSubies. Today, we're going to be re-merging this beautiful V-Limited RA STI. Yes, we said re-merging. This thing right here, we've actually featured it in the introduction video, towards the end of the introduction video. We sold it, customer loves it, it's great. There's only one problem with it. The one problem is, we didn't merge it. Not that other people can't merge vehicles or anything like that, or the Subarus. The problem is, there is some issues with the fans. We've looked around with the relays and we get them to work, and then it kind of goes back. Anyways, he's going for a really clean look. There's a lot of wiring on the sides and on the back, and it's just, we could do it a lot cleaner. Another issue is it's tuned off of the FCON Pro, so an HKS piggyback ECU. I'll show you guys later on the nightmare that is underneath the carpet because of that. And also, the OBD2 is actually cut. So you can't tune via OBD ECU flash like we usually do running carberry, and doing something like that will be able to just cut down a lot on just the aftermarket sensors that it has. There's a lot of different map sensors that are additional, like map sensors, additional map sensors that you just don't need if you're running carberry. So we're gonna take this, remerge it, and do a semi-wire tuck, but really it's just cleaning everything up and getting familiar with the wiring harness. It's gonna be interesting to see. We don't know who merged this. We bought this car from mainland Japan, already merged. It's the only other car that we've purchased in Japan that was merged already. It's a Virgin 8 STI engine with the 2.2 liter stroker kit already in it. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they do it. We're gonna start by taking this engine out and let's see what's underneath it. Alright, this is actually just about an hour later. We had Yamashiro-san spinning his head around in circles that we were done already. But it was actually really smooth. A lot of aftermarket stuff on there, so there was a lot of things that were just kind of out of the way. But you can see right here, just this right here, this grommet is literally backwards. That's not even supposed to be facing inwards. It's supposed to be popping and bulging kind of like this right here. You have all this, which looks like the GC harness with some of the neutral position sensor stuff down here. This is the DEFI boost. What do you call that thing?
Sending unit?
Yeah, sending unit. This is the map sensor for the FCON Pro. We won't need this. There's a lot of the extra engine harnesses that just look funky. Like, one's coming through this back end here, but the other side is coming through here. This is clearly the GD stuff because this is where the O2 sensor originally was. So we're gonna be able to just take all of this and make it so much cleaner. And if you look over here on the opposite side, this is some of the stuff that we just had to remove inside of this thing right here. It's straight up like JDM right here. This is a T67 25G turbo. The compressor housing is huge, but look at this tiny thing. This side is actually really small. So it's it's just old school. It's old school. A lot of this stuff is old school. If you look at the wastegate right here, look at this thing. Look at that. That's bigger than some of the turbos we run.
It was like the head of a motorcycle.
The head of a motorcycle. That's right, the Genskis over here. In Okinawa, Japan, we got these 50cc, well in Japan in general, with the 50cc engines right there, man. That's exactly what it looks like.
A little engine.
Little tiny engine. It kind of reminds me of, anyway, you know The Fly, the movie The Fly? When the guy got a fly mixed in with the machine and he became a monster. That's what the machine looked like. Anyways, but yeah, so we got all this stuff right here laying on the ground. So we'll see what happens, but we might actually convert that into like a newer style, maybe a 38mm Turbo Smart or something like that, so it just cleans up a lot of the room down there. We will see what happens. So all you gotta do is get a flange and then measure that pipe, and then maybe we'll just get whatever wastegate for that pipe right there. Engine's over here. So he wants to get the intake manifold also powder coated. It's like an I think it's an ATS. It's a carbon fiber twin plate clutch. It's converted into the push style. It's such a nice clutch. These injectors right here, I think they're SARD injectors. We probably will be changing that out to ID1050Xs. This thing right here, this is a converting old school JDM Subaru modifications to new school OkiSubies modifications right here. All right, so this is day 2 of the remerging the V Limited. I told you guys I'd show you all the different things that we got going on over here, and if you look over there, you can see this is the FCON Pro, the piggyback harness. There's another unit for AVCS, so it's just a nightmare. Right there, when we're done, there's literally going to be that stock ECU inside there. That's pretty much it. I showed you guys before, just to show you again. This is the harness. The one that was going inside is the mass airflow sensor. We popped that out. This is the GC stuff. This is the GD stuff. So we're going to start pulling all that apart, and then we're going to lay out the harness, and then we're going to kind of observe. But first, we got to take the stinking dash out, and the roll cage is actually ran through the dashboard. Beautifully done. But what a nightmare to take out this is going to be. Look at this. This is the engine connector harnesses on that left-hand side by the battery typically. These ones right here don't go by colors, but just in my experience, this model, this right here is the power supply. So it's pulling in the power supply from here. Look at this. That's crazy. I'm just documenting this type of stuff for you guys because wait till you see when we're done with it. This is gonna be a night and day difference.
Just like run to the front too, like.
Yeah, so the bottom, you don't usually have to pull this out when you're merging a car or you're taking out the harness. This right here is like your different things for the fans and whatnot, right? So the fact that we have to pull this out and we're having issues with fans kind of give us that confidence that we're on the right track of doing this the right way anyways, you know, because this is crazy. I mean, honestly, I would say probably like, I don't know, just to throw a number out there, 60% of what we're gonna be doing is not gonna be seen. But it's going to be so much more cleaner. It's going to make me feel better, and I'll sleep better at night for this. Good night. I call this a cutter. This is thing. I'm tetanus out. There's that. There's that. Wow. So we need this separated somehow. But this is where they're getting the power from. That's so weird. Which makes, I get it because they left the ignition relay on the left-hand side instead of tapping it into the right-hand side. That's probably going to sound like mumbo jumbo if you don't know how to merge a car, but it's a horrible way of doing it because you're pulling power from somewhere and they just said, let's do it this way. The Japanese people, they do this. Batsu, no good, dame. Dame. Look at this, even the shape of this thing in there, man. Look at that. Batsu, dame desu. Okay. Yeah. Not sure, dude.
Obviously, if I'm just gonna see like this orange, why am I gonna have to do
Yeah. You can't put like a huh? We already put you. There. Almost there. right, guys, we got this wiring harness out. It was a nightmare. Yeah, I'm not even really trying to bag on anybody, but this is just a horrible job. This is a very bad way of doing it. For starters, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's just kind of like the nature of the game when you're running the piggyback ECU. It just looks pretty bad. So this is the OEM ECU. Okay, we're gonna take this. We're gonna unplug this. Out of all this stuff right here, we can reuse the ECU. That's probably about all we're gonna reuse. All right, so that's the ECU pulled out from there. And this portion here, all right, it's basically a Y. See that? OEM ECU, and then it goes here. And this goes to the FCON. And what it does is it bypasses the ECUs for like ignition and fuel tables and things like that. You can map sensor, you can make it speed density, but you're basically not using a portion of this ECU, and you're piggybacking another ECU that's tunable. As you can see, just the wiring behind it is just crazy. Electronic valve control. You cannot tune ABCS with this. So old school ways of doing it is getting electronic valve control things. There was 2 of them in there, and anyways, all that old school stuff we will not use. We will be using Carberry, and we're running a speed density tune with that. So that's what Dylan's car is running, and it runs amazing. We've done other couple cars too with it, and it's good success. So going on this side here, it's very similar. They do have some minor things on this side right here. This, and it's cut and folded over. A lot of this is actually OBD2, some of the fuel stuff. There's just everything that they ended up not using in the merge, they put right there. This right here, I could have just reattached and done OBD2 and then take out the piggyback and see if I could tune it from there. I'm glad I didn't, because there's a lot more stuff that I want to fix. This is the GC8 harness portion. They remade a connector, neutral position and reverse light switch, speed sensor, OEM O2 sensor is still in here, and it doesn't need to be in any merge. This portion is the GD portion. This is the GC portion. And if you follow this, if I were to take it all apart, I can almost guarantee you it would be for this, which is the AC portion. So they're keeping the AC portion separate. But as you can see, right, when you start getting circles and X's and whatnot inside the harness, it's not going to be clean. I can't wait to show you guys what it's going to look like when it's done. Ignition relay is on this side. The GC8 ignition relays are typically right here. And what you can do is you can integrate that to power the GD harness. You don't have to separate them like this. I think, I'm pretty sure these are for the GD the intercooler sprayer, and they just wrapped it all up in here, and you can actually use the OEM V Limited. The GC8 has the water intercooler sprayer, so you don't even need to have that in there. That should have all been taken out. Yeah. This versus what we'll have. We are literally, I don't see any DC-CD inside of this harness. We're probably gonna do a lot. We'll figure out what we're gonna do, but I don't think I'm gonna use any of this harness. We have another harness that we can use. It's just the GC harness. We just gotta figure out what we're gonna do with this, because I don't really want to reuse that, but we'll figure it out. We have decided to use Dylan's entire harness. We are going to be retiring the GF8